GolfNewsRI presents the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Golf Dudes Podcast. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday and a great week. It's certainly been a busy week. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Rich Capelli. Rich, how you doing today, buddy boy?
Not too bad. Weather's great out. Couldn't find a game today, which is disappointing, but it's still early. We had a bunch of stuff going on at both our places today, so we couldn't make it work today. So not too much else is going on. Watching a little bit of the Memorial, and then we got the LPGA at Pine Needles on at 3 o'clock because I can't watch it because I don't pay for Peacock. So that'll be on USA at 3 o'clock. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, you mean the U.S. Women's Open on at 3 o'clock?
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries.
The U.S. Women's Open.
All good. Obviously, there's tons going on, as you just mentioned, on the pro level. We have LIV Golf stuff. We have high school stuff. We have, obviously, I want to hit quickly on the CBS Charter Classic. It's kind of old news now, but we didn't get to weigh in on it. But before we get to all of that, and we're going to get to all of that, believe me, we should tell you that first, the Golf Dudes Podcast is presented by Lynx Drinks. Lynx Drinks is best known for their transfusion in a can. A transfusion is vodka, ginger ale, and grape juice, all mixed up into one refreshing beverage. Of course, as you said, Lynx Drinks has recently come out with 2 new flavors that involve orange juice as well, including the back 9 and the front 9 transfusions. So be sure to check those out. They're actually pretty good. And you should look for Lynx Drinks in liquor stores and country clubs near you. Thanks to our friends at Lynx Drinks for supporting local media. So anyway, with that said, lots going on. I really don't even know where to start. Obviously, we had the high school stuff earlier this week, the state championship. We're going to hear from Max Jackson in just a few minutes from his media scrum after just another victory. We have CBS Classic. We have Golf's Longest Day coming up on Monday, June 6th, the final day for the U.S. Open qualifying. And obviously, there's some locals playing in that and some other people that aren't necessarily local, but you might have interest in, like Danny Woodhead. And he even got a shout out from Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't believe I saw that. I can't believe he remembered me. I'm like, dude, you're Danny Woodhead. Of course he remembers you. Like, what?
So there's a ton going on, and I guess to start from the beginning, and it's because it's old news, but it was a big deal and a lot of sadness in Rhode Island for it. We obviously did a show for Thursday, Friday morning, and I'm happy I ended up didn't playing golf that day because we wouldn't have had the story. But it was announced and we broke that CBS Charity Classic is no longer. After a 23-year run, they raised millions and millions of dollars for various charities across the region, but that's coming to an end. As someone who volunteered for this classic for a number of years, obviously it was sad. And I think the saddest thing was I was sad that it ended the way it did, as far as not having a tournament in the last 2 years. Like it would have been cool to have like one more, just have like a send off, like you know, bring on.
You got to think that's how a lot of businesses, how a lot of businesses end up too. So it's kind of like not fitting, but like it's kind of par for the course without no pun intended. It just got taken out.
Yeah, so it was just too bad that it ended. Obviously, it was going to end at some point, and you could see it coming the last few years. And I've said it that it was going to.
You could see it in like 16, 17, with the crowds.
Changed,
you know what I mean?
It changed from not even that. It changed from a 2-day golf event to a 1-day golf event, and then they had 2-person teams with best ball to 3-person teams. And it kind of just got watered down, and
then it was never a good day too either. It was always the Monday after the U.S. Open.
It was always the Monday after the U.S. Open, or the week after.
Yeah, so it's like the day after the U.S. Open. I mean, I mean, they got top players, but like it's like always like a hassle. Like, oh, what is it? Oh, it's the day after a freaking major. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I went to a ton of them. I saw a ton of people. I saw Annika. I saw Camila Villegas, Billy Haas, all those guys. It was fantastic. I actually saw Lady Antebellum when they did the whole CVS like weekend series or whatever it was, when they were doing like the food festival stuff like that. I ended up going to the concert at the Dunk. That was awesome. But yeah, it's a shame. Me and my dad went a bunch of times, and it was fun. It was a great course. super hot during that time frame, but it was right on the water, so it was cool.
Yeah, it was obviously a great event, and it was really my first introduction, I think, or certainly one of them. My first introduction to watching pro golf live, because obviously there's not a ton of pro golf events here.
Same.
And,
Yep.
you know, when I was a kid, I wasn't necessarily going to Boston to see the TPC tournament necessarily.
Yeah.
So it was really my first introduction to watching pro golf in a live setting. So obviously it was sad. I got to meet Arnold Palmer. I got to meet Annika Sorenstam. Rory McIlroy came 1 year later on to try to kind of say to give the tournament a boost when it was a one-day event. So that was cool. But obviously sad news with the Classic, but obviously an amazing run, and it was going to end at some point. And unfortunately, like I said, it was just sad the way it ended as far as not being able to have a proper kind of close out of the tournament. Now, how that would have looked with Brad Faxon and everyone's hate for Brad Faxon, I'm not really sure. That would have been a whole nother story, but
yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, that would that would have been weird.
It would have been interesting. So there's that. I just want to hit on that real quick. Like I said, it's a little bit of old news, but it was a huge deal when it broke here last Friday. I just
here's a little fact right here. I just came across it scrolling on Twitter. Not that we really care that it's a non-golf factoid. LeBron James is the first active NBA player to become a billionaire.
I saw that. Yeah,
not that it's pertinent to our conversation. I just saw it scrolling across Twitter.
No, it's not pertinent at all. But hey, good for him. He's got all kinds of businesses. He's got all kinds of things going on. So I'm sure it's not just because the NBA only, but good for him. So there was that. Obviously, the biggest news of the week on a national level was the LIV Golf stuff. That was announced on Tuesday night. And of course, I had just gotten home from the high school. They won the high school state championship. I wrote all my content. I'm like, good. I'm done writing content for the night. I'm gonna relax, watch hockey.
You know,
and all of a sudden, this shit breaks. I'm like, God damn it! Now they're like,
you know the story behind the supposed timing of this, right? The timing of it because of Jack. Yeah. Because Jack basically spit in their faces because they wanted him to be the face of the LIV thing. He basically said screw, and then they wanted to like release the roster as as the memorial was kicking off. So I thought that was kind of.
Now, do they want? Because I didn't read much up on it. Just not any more than anybody else did. Did they want Jack instead of Greg Norman? Was that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
Holy crap! Ryan Fitzpatrick is retiring. Good Lord. This is crazy. It's a crazy news day. Anyways, yeah, that was the supposed. They were waiting because we said they were going to do it like last Wednesday or something like that. Whatever.
Supposed to do it like last Friday. Everyone was tweeting, so I was like, all day. I was like, and then of course nothing ended up happening. It was a waste of my time.
Yeah, so that was kind of an FU. They were trying to give an FU to like to Jack for basically telling them off and not taking the deal.
So while we're at it, let's just get into it. We'll circle back to the high school stuff later. Like I said, we are going to hear from Max Jackson. But while we're here, LIV Golf announced it Tuesday, the big list. They announced 42 players of the 48-person field. I guess there's 5 more qualifiers coming from one of the European tours, and supposedly they're holding one spot for Phil Mickelson. Now, keep in mind that LIV Golf tournament is next week, which a lot of people forgot. That's actually next week. And I believe I read it somewhere that it's streaming on YouTube or something, but I'm not 1,000% sure on that.
And there's only one name that I care about that we should talk about.
That's Dustin Johnson, of course.
Correct.
He was a surprise person on the list.
I almost crapped my pants when I saw him. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. He was obviously the huge surprise. Just quickly, we'll hit on him, but some other quick names: Lee Westwood, Sergio Garcia, my guy Louis Oosthuizen, and maybe he'll finish second over there. Lee Westwood, I'm sure I'm repeating people. On a local level, Peter Uline was on the list. Massachusetts, Northeast Amateur champion. So that was kind of interesting. I felt like he was kind of on the come a little bit on the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tours, but I guess not. So that was an interesting decision on his part. But obviously the big name that everyone's focused on is Dustin Johnson. He's since been dropped by RBC. They also dropped.
That didn't take long. It was like what, 2 hours, 3 hours?
If even that. And they also dropped Graham McDowell. Everybody that's going to that tour pretty much is going to drop by primary sponsors. UPS with Lee Westwood and Louis Oosthuizen, RBC with Dustin Johnson and Graham McDowell, and I'm sure they've had other people as well. And it's also funny that that tournament is the same week as the RBC Canadian Open, which is obviously was Dustin Johnson's sponsor. So that's the reason enough to drop him right there. But you brought it up. You were excited to talk about this topic, so I'm trying to get you involved early. But Dustin Johnson to LIV Golf stunned everybody, I think.
I mean, not for nothing. I mean, he's got one major, right? Just the Masters.
Two majors.
Two majors.
The U.S. Open.
In the U.S. Open, correct. I mean, besides going for the Grand Slam, I mean, he's done, which he's not going to get. I mean, he's pretty much done it all for the PGA. Multiple victories, multiple majors and he plays in this one LIV thing and he wins it. It's going to probably equal his pay for the last like 5 years. You know what I mean?
Well, I read somewhere that they paid him
or something like that.
They paid him in advance to sign on. He was paid like
to make the commitment,
25 million or something just to sign on.
That's got to be more than he's made in like the past 5 years, minus endorsements. Obviously, the endorsements are probably different because he was like Adidas, TaylorMade, all that stuff. So, but yeah, I'm excited, but I'm also kind of nervous that Monahan's gonna possibly drop the hammer on him, which.
But will they have legal rights to do that though? It's going to go to everyone's saying it's going to go to court and it's going to be in the legal nonsense, and then we're going to have to write some legal nonsense, which I hate writing about. But
technically,
so
isn't their tour status a contract?
Yeah, they're technically independent contractors.
They're independent contractors, so yeah, I don't know. I hope not, because obviously everything's better when DJ's in the field. I mean, pretty much all those guys, even Lee, Louis, all those guys, everything's better when everybody's playing at the same time, especially like we were talking about. Lee had a resurgence in the past like 2 or 3 years. That was fun to watch. He was in contention, bunch of top 5s, top 10s the past couple of years. But yeah, I don't know. I really hope that Monahan doesn't try to screw him.
I mean, PGA Tour said they're standing by their earlier statement that they're going to punish players that go over.
But that makes it even more interesting. Like DJ don't care. He doesn't care.
Right, of course. And remember that the PGA Tour didn't grant
not one.
I don't know if permission is the right word, but
releases.
Grant releases for these players to go there. So it feels like these players are just going over there on their own and just saying like, screw you. That's what it feels like anyways. Now the US Open is obviously in 2 weeks. And the USJ has said that they're going to make their own decisions on whether or not players can play, I read. So that's kind of a change. So it is possible that Dustin Johnson could be in London, win $50 bajillion.
And then come to Brookline.
And like a minor league field.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll dust that field. And even if he's on half of his game.
Yeah.
If he's playing at a C+, he'll dust all those guys.
And then come to Brookline and play in the U.S. Open. So
that's crazy. That's absolutely nuts.
But it's obviously going to be a huge storyline at the U.S. Open because, of course, it's coming off LIV Golf. So it's just going to be a crazy, crazy time in obviously the golf world. And LIV Golf finally announced their field. Now, of course, remember too, LIV Golf is coming to Boston in September at the International over Labor Day weekend. So. I'm not sure if the field is going to be the same, but I'm sure it's going to be similar.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
So keep that in mind as well. We're going to try to apply for media credentials to that. And I'm hearing that there's also a media day in early August, and Greg Norman supposedly is going to be there. So that's still a ways away. But just keep that in mind with this LIV Golf stuff that's coming locally in September. So I think
this is going to be a bigger not deal, a bigger thing than we're anticipating. I think this has the potential to succeed.
Yeah,
especially if other guys see DJ going like the IDGAF attitude, like I screw the PGA, screw the contract, I'm going. this may make other guys think about jumping ship.
Well, if this whole thing goes to court, which is what everyone's saying is going to happen, and the PGA Tour loses in court, and it's determined that there's nothing that they can do,
Oh yeah,
then they're really in
they'll
trouble.
all play.
Then they're really in trouble. So it's something to keep an eye on. Like I said, and there is a local angle too, which is what I like because it is coming to Boston or just outside of Boston in September. So we'll have obviously coverage of that when it gets closer, but something to keep an eye on. And again, I think it's streaming on YouTube. I will try to confirm that over the next couple of days. I thought I read that somewhere. I'm not 100,000% sure, but I'll try to confirm that, or we'll try to confirm that and get a link out or something along those lines when it does happen. So there is that big news from the week. Big national news broke on Tuesday night, and it kept me writing right through the midnight hour, which was fine because it was worth it in that situation. But it wasn't what I was hoping to do. But anyway, big news there. Dustin Johnson to LIV Golf, probably going to be suspended by the PGA Tour, I would think. Rory McIlroy was asked, I think yesterday in his press conference about the field, and he said that he hopes that they don't get suspended because he obviously has friends that are going there. But he was asked about the field. He goes, I don't think it's anything to jump up and down about. It's not any better than the field that we have here or the fields next week. So he kind of took a backhanded approach to it, but that's what he said. So it is interesting. All these guys are going to be asked about it all week, and certainly next week as well in the RBC when they're going head to head with.
Oh yeah, that's going to be insane.
So next week's going to be a crazy week on a national level, and the week after that is the U.S. Open, and that's going to be crazy for a whole bunch of reasons. So there's that. So that's some of the LIV Golf stuff. It should be interesting. Rich thinks it's going to be a bigger deal than
I really honestly do.
And it could.
I have a sneaky feeling. I don't know.
There's other guys that are in it. David Puig, who just lost the national championship with Arizona State the other day. He's playing. He's going right to LIV. Andy Ogletree, who won the U.S. Amateur, he's going to LIV, which was surprising.
He's the kid that wears the glasses, right?
Yeah, because he actually played on some of the mini tours of Will Dixon. Will knows him pretty well.
Didn't he win the amateur at Bandon Dunes?
He might have.
I think he won it at Bandon Dunes.
He won it like the last couple of years or so. It's relatively recent. So he's going over there, and obviously some other amateurs and European players that we don't really know of as well. Richard Bland is one, so you can tune in to watch Richard Bland play. So anyway, that's kind of the LIV Golf stuff. Obviously, lots of controversy, lots of stuff going on with that, and it's just going to continue to go. As next week they literally go head to head with a PGA Tour tournament. So this week is just to talk about it. Next week they go head to head. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens. I don't know if it does stream on YouTube. I'm imagining they're going to come out with YouTube streaming numbers. And
I was just going to say, you said it's on YouTube, right? It's on YouTube.
That's what I read. That it's streaming on YouTube. I don't know that 1,000% for sure. Like I said, I'm going to try to confirm that over the next couple of days and try to get some sort of information out where people can find it.
Yeah, I'm going to look too.
If it is on YouTube, there'll be streaming numbers, so it'll be fascinating to see what
everybody will be able to watch it without regard, you know.
Yeah. So that will be interesting for sure. In fact, right after this, I might actually look and see if LIV Golf has a YouTube page, because that would be.
I'll look right now while you talk.
That might be the answer. Right? That might be the answer right there. If they have their own YouTube page.
I got you, bro.
LIV. Don't put LIV Golf, which I've done before. Caitlin texted me, you wrote live instead of live.
Yeah. You screwed up.
Typo. As long as it's not in the headline, it's okay. As long as it's not in the headline, it's fixable.
Live. Let's see what pops up.
So while Richard's looking at that, real quick, we want to circle back to high school, but real quick, golf's longest day is Monday, June 6th. Obviously, we'll be following locals like Tommy McCormick playing in New York. It's 36 holes to get to the U.S. Open. I don't know 1,000% how many players are getting in. I know the Texas qualifier last week had like 13 spots. I don't imagine there's going to be 13 spots coming out of New York, but there could be. And also Bryson Richards is playing in New York too, the URI star. So we'll have coverage of that. We'll follow the live scoring. We'll put the live scoring links up on our Facebook pages and our website so people can follow the locals. Obviously, also you can follow Chris Francoeur. He's in a final qualifier, and former Patriot Danny Woodhead. He's playing there as well. Apparently, he's a really good golfer now, so good for him.
He's kind of got like the perfect body for it, like stocky and muscular, but short, you know?
Yeah. So this last year, him and a partner made a deep run in the US 4-ball. So now he's.
So I'm not seeing anything for the actual LIV, but like, you know, CBS Sports headquarters, Sky Sports Golf, Dan Patrick, Golf Channel, all that stuff. But I don't see an actual YouTube page for it yet.
Yeah. So all right. So we don't 1,000% sure, but I heard that it's streaming on YouTube. So we'll see.
Maybe somebody's carrying it on YouTube. Maybe.
Could be a Sky.
Could be like one like Sky Sports or something. Yeah, because Sky Sports is big in Europe. So who knows?
Well, we know it won't be on Golf Channel, given the vitriol they've been. Brandon's family will not be doing live from the LIV Golf event. That's for sure.
No, sir. No, sir.
So there's that. It should be interesting to see how it all plays out. I guess I understand the controversy of it. Obviously, I'm also excited for the content part of it as well. I understand. I see both sides of it. So
I do too.
People saying that they shouldn't do it because of the Saudis, and I get that. I was at the side that says they should be able to go play where they want. You know, I get that part of it too. Like I said, I'm just here for the content. So there's that. Let's circle back, and then we'll get into. We want to get to the U.S. Women's Open. We want to give them some time, and the Memorial Tournament. Circle back quickly to high school golf. I was at the high school golf state championship last 2 days over at Cranston Country Club, and shockingly, to the surprise of nobody, LaSalle won the team title for the first time since 1974, and of course Max Jackson won the individual state championship with a 2-round score of 3 under 139. That
was at Cranston.
Yeah, Cranston. So congrats to both of them. So now LaSalle owns all 3 golf championships. They own the women's championship, or the girls championship. They own the boys state championship and the team championship. So they have the triple crown.
Is that good?
I think that's pretty good. I asked Max afterward in our little media scrum there, and I said, you know, historically, LaSalle has not been known as like a golf school. They're mostly like basketball, hockey, football. I said, is it safe to say LaSalle is now a golf school? He goes, LaSalle is definitely a golf school.
Especially with his ass there. Give me 1 second. I got to step away for 1 second.
Well, I'm just going to keep going, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, Jackson put a 2-round score of 3 under to win by 5 shots over Narragansett Sebastian Carlson, who had a great tournament, and Moses Brown's Harry Dessel, whose high school career comes to an end. And then now it should be noted that Jackson is the first player to win back-to-back state titles since Will Dixon won 4 in a row from 2014 to 2017. And I texted Will Dixon. I said, you might be on the clock, buddy. And Jackson said he's going to go for the 4 in a row, obviously. So that'll be fun to watch over the next 2 years. And afterward, we caught up with Max Jackson and the little media scrum, and I put together a little bit of a package with a few highlights and obviously some commentary from him and some of his thoughts on just another victory for him and the LaSalle Rams. So we'll play that now.
Crazy. This year definitely felt a little closer than last year. Harry was playing great and coming down the stretch. There's definitely a lot of pressure. But this one feels different because we have a clean sweep this year. We got the boys individual, girls individual, and the team. So I'm glad that I did my part, and I'm glad I contributed for the team too. Next year I'll be an upperclassman, technically, so I'll kind of not be the underdog anymore. But yeah, it definitely feels nice to get these two out of the way. I feel like they'll definitely be the hardest, so now that I have this experience, it'll be better. Didn't really do much all spring, so to finally see the putter somewhat click this week, yesterday was outstanding. Today was okay, but I did it when I needed it, and it just shows that hard work pays off. This kind of was a dominant year for us. We led the state in scoring average, and we showed it in these big tournaments, and I'm just happy for our seniors, and got really close with the team this year. Just felt different this year than last year because of how close we were, so it's just really special. He's been an unreal player and an even better person, and I'm blessed to play against him, and he's challenged me in multiple tournaments. We go back and forth. It's just whoever's on that day, and he's going to do great things in college, so I'm just really happy I got the chance to play against him.
All right, that was Max Jackson following his second round at the high school golf state championship. It really is two of the best days in all of high school sports, at least on Rhode Island. Great event, great to see so many people come out and watch. Obviously, you have all the teams there as well, and so we'll see what the future holds for LaSalle. But given that they have Jackson, they have Olivia Williams, they could be a dynasty for a long time. They could be a dynasty for a long time.
He's what? He's a sophomore?
Jackson's a sophomore. Williams is a freshman. She won the girls' state title at Warwick Country Club, of all places.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's definitely fun to watch. And like I said, this high school season was highly anticipated by me mostly. I tried to build up some hype for it. Hopefully, I was able to bring some attention to the kids and the teams, and I think it lived up to the hype. It was pretty fascinating. LaSalle pretty much dominated most of the season. That was just kind of what I figured. They had the lowest scoring average, and it wasn't even close. And they won the state championship by 19 shots. So over Bishop Hendricken, who snuck in at second. So it was pretty much was over on the back nine, unless Max was in the last group, of course. So I was joking with one of my friends I was walking with. I said, well, unless Max makes like a 25 on the last hole, I think it's over. if he can 10 putt for like a 20, it'll be all set. But no, obviously he was not gonna obviously do that. But I was joking that thing was over. The team part of it was over. So congrats to LaSalle, and certainly we'll have to start building up the hype for next season. Now, for those that are following the players. This is a big summer for a lot of them. They obviously all play in different events. They play in the stadium. They play all over the region. There's a big amateur tournament in Connecticut that a lot of them are going up to. And hopefully the junior amateur, which according to sources is a little bit on the rocks right now. They're on junior amateur. But then they'll go down and play in Pinehurst at the North-South Junior Amateur and all these other events. So big summer for a lot of them. Especially for kids like Max, who's a sophomore and he's trying to get recognized by colleges. It's going to be really important that he goes out and plays well in some of these national type events. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And the high school season is over, but the season for the students is very much just getting started. Obviously, we'll be following Kylie Eaton as well, as she looks to win her 4th straight Prairie Club championship, and she might actually have a car by then. She might actually be old enough to drive by then.
Can I cut in for a second?
Yes.
About going back to the Dustin Johnson thing. Our boy Iman just put up an article, and it said, I wanted to ask you a question. Are you surprised that Ricky Fowler's name's not on that list?
No, because he seemed unsure of himself when they asked him about it.
Yeah.
But he was doing good today, though.
So Iman said that as it became apparent that the field was being assembled for the golf tournament would boast all the star power, Johnson is LIV's great blue whale, and he said a Brinks truck may be already backing up to Ricky Fowler's front door in Florida.
Could be. I mean, Ricky seemed unsure when they asked him about it at his PGA Championship press conference when they asked him when he said. Yeah. I'm gonna send you this article so you can read it. It's actually a pretty good read. Most of the Amon stuff is pretty good.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to tell you while I saw it up here.
No, that's fine. I was just going on about high school stuff, anyways. So.
No, that's fine. But I just wanted to make sure I made it a point to mention it to you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it could be Ricky could be the next shoe to drop. Like I said, they only announced 42 of 48 players. So there's some speculation as to who. Supposedly there's 5 European guys, amateurs that are going to try to qualify for it or whatever, and then they're supposedly saving a spot for Phil Mickelson. But I don't know that to be.
That's another thing. That's another name that I'm not surprised that he's there. You know what I mean? That it's there. You know.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing with that, like I said, is if this goes to court, which everyone's saying that it will, if this goes to court and the PGA Tour loses.
Oh yeah, it's a free for all.
This whole thing could blow up. So it'll be fascinating either way, for sure. It's one of the biggest.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's one of the biggest stories in golf. It's been the biggest story in golf for a long time, and now it's coming to reality. So we'll obviously continue to cover it. I'm not going to post an article on every single thing, obviously, that happens because
it's going to be a lot in the next.
No one cares that much, but certainly the big things and anything significant, obviously, we'll have something up relatively quickly. So there's that. And again, just to circle back quickly to the high school, and then we'll hit commercial break and come back and do Memorial and U.S. Women's Open. Keep an eye on these kids over the summer as they play all over the region and all over the country in a lot of ways, down in Florida, North Carolina at Pinehurst, and even around here. So obviously they're playing highly competitive tournaments, and that's really where they get seen by top colleges. And if these Jackson and Kylie Eaton are hopefully will be committing to big name schools in the coming months or years.
What grade is Kylie in? She a junior?
She's going to be a senior.
Going to be a senior. Okay.
So this is a huge summer for her, obviously, and then it's also a huge summer for Max Jackson, who's going to be a junior. So as Will Dixon said in a column article I did about him, he said the most important thing is to get out of Rhode Island and play golf. So a lot of these kids do that, and so a big summer for a lot of them coming up. So we'll keep track of them. Obviously, a lot of tournaments they play are local. They're relatively local. That's easy to follow, but they also play across the country and across the East Coast. So something to keep an eye on for sure. But I just wanted to hit that real quick. So let's do this. Let's get a commercial break, and then we'll come back. We'll hit on the U.S. Women's Open, which is underway. I have some thoughts on some of the players. Nelly Korda, Michelle Wie playing, who announced, I think, last week that she's taking a step away from the game of golf. Annika Sorenstam is back on the pro golf circuit, and a few others as well. And an amateur at this moment is leading the tournament, which is pretty crazy. So
stud.
We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of this good stuff. This is the Golf Dudes podcast. Billy Andre joins the show. Billy, thanks so much for doing this, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm very excited to be joined by an 11-time Emmy Award winner, and that is Armin Katayan. Massachusetts Women's Amateur Champion Allison Paik.
The days of the country club just being golf and maybe one amenity are gone. Unfortunately, Metacomet doesn't have those.
He has a very rare condition called kyphoscoliotic Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And at the time of diagnosis, there was only 60 documented cases in the world.
I mean, we legitimately played the last 4 holes at Newport National. You could not see 50 yards.
welcome back to the Golf News Podcast presented by Lynx Drinks. Lynx Drinks is known for their transfusion in a can. Transfusion is vodka, ginger, and grape juice. Or their other two flavors, the front 9 and the back 9 transfusions, all are very good. Thanks to Lynx Drinks for supporting the local media. And then check them out at liquor stores and country clubs near you across the region, across the state, really across the country at this point. So they're on a roll. We hit on the LIV Golf stuff earlier. We hit on high school stuff. We hit on, I hit quickly on golf's longest day, which is Monday, which we actually do have a rooting interest in for maybe the first time in a while. And so now let's hit on obviously 2 major tournaments going on in professional golf this week, the Memorial and the U.S. Women's Open. Both are underway at this time. And as Rich mentioned earlier, U.S. Open coverage picks up on USA from 3 o'clock to I think 8 p.m. They said.
I think it's 8, yeah.
On both Thursday and Friday, and then I think on the weekend it switches to NBC. So U.S. Women's Open right now is being, as we speak, at 2:15. Is being led by an amateur and Ingrid Lindblad from LSU. Pretty impressive start. It looks like scoring conditions are good early on. We'll see how that changes over the course of the afternoon. It'll be fun to look back on this podcast and say, well, we were completely wrong about this or right about that.
Right.
But just your early thought, you've been seeing some of the clips, I'm sure. Your early thoughts on U.S. Women's Open at Pine Needles, which is in North Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, it's right down the street from Pinehurst. That whole area has like a ton of amongst Pinehurst, what, 9 or 10 courses in that complex. There's a bunch of other ones that are just south of there, Tobacco Road, Pine Needles, and I can't remember a couple of the other names, but yeah, it's like a golfing mega island over there. But yeah, so because I do not pay for Peacock, I was unable to watch the Women's Open this morning. Like Joe said, it's on at 3 o'clock on USA, 3 to 8. And stud Ingrid Lindblad, I followed her for the past 2 or 3 years in the NCAA circuit. She's an absolute beast. She's leading at 5 under through 16. I'm not going to go through any of the other names that nobody recognizes. Anna Norquist, fellow Swede to Ingrid. She's at 4 under through 17. Let's see what we got. We got Lexi Thompson. She started the day as the leader. I think she was like 4 under. She's at 2 under through 17. Like I said, this is 2:15 on Thursday when we tape this. So let's see what else we got. Jennifer Kupcho. She won the last major, the women's major. She's even through 17. Nelly's sister Jessica, she's even through 16. We go down. Angel Yin, even. Let's go down to the people who haven't teed off yet because that's who we care about. Come on. There we go. Michelle Wee, she's at 136, so she's already teed off. This, I don't know why this hasn't updated yet. Georgia Hall, she also went off at 140 along with Sophia Popov, another German stud. What else we got? Megan Kang at 151, obviously already off. And there was a couple of my favorite. She's one of my favorite LPGA golfers, Lizette Salas. She's going off right now as we speak. Danielle Kang, second favorite women's golfer. She goes off at 224. And Rose Zhang, your girl from Stanford, she goes off at 235. She's another stud. She's number 1 ranked amateur in the world, and Ingrid's number 2. So that's going to be a fantastic battle for them to see who gets bragging rights for that. And that's about it.
Rosie Zhang has been in the news recently because she committed to go back to Stanford for another year, which
insane, absolutely crazy.
Which stunned everybody, but she wants to go to college. She wants to be with her teammates. Obviously, Stanford women look like they could be some sort of a dynasty.
Right? It's crazy.
So
they're so good.
Might as well go have fun in school. Plenty of time to turn pro later.
Well, that's what we just said with the whole
basketball.
with
Yeah.
the beasts
College
the
basketball,
beasts that are
yeah.
coming back to basketball this year. I'm not a huge I'm a more college basketball than NBA guy, but that tournament next year is going to be awesome. Anyways, but yeah, look for that on NBC, USA, Court TV. It's like some sort of like they're trying to mix it up through the station. So you just got to look on your cable guide to see. I for one, I'm going to be watching it all weekend because I like women's golf and I love the majors.
Yeah, so a couple of talking points on the U.S. Women's Open that I find interesting. Obviously, the big news recently was Nelly Korda committed to play after having blood clot surgery over the last few months. So we'll see how she looks. Obviously, I think she's maybe, I don't know if she's the most important, but you know, she just won the gold medal. She's really the face of women's golf in America at this moment. I think she's probably the most important, one of the most important women's golfers in the country, if not on the world, when it comes to growing golf in America and women playing golf and someone to watch. So it's great that she's back. Obviously, the story came out a couple weeks ago. Michelle Wie is stepping away from the game of golf. She's playing this week, but she's stepping away. She's not going to be on tour anymore. She was I don't know if you remember her growing up when she was like a phenom, and she was playing in all these tournaments. And you know, it's kind of crazy that she's kind of stepping away. Obviously, she's a mother now, so you know, life changes, and she's married to Jerry West's son.
I was just going to say she's going to do okay. She's
so kind of two. One star is returning, another quarter. Another star seemingly is going away. Michelle Wie didn't really say she was retiring, but
who would you compare her to in the PGA?
Who?
Michelle.
Well, the amount of hype she got, I compare it to Tiger Woods. But
you think she was that high? Yeah.
She was pretty. I mean, she was pretty. She was.
I was going to say that, but I thought I was stupid for saying that.
I mean, obviously she doesn't have the wins. Her pro career probably didn't turn out as a lot of people thought.
The way she wanted. Yeah.
As a lot of people thought it was going to turn out.
Hype wise, yeah.
Hype wise, she was a phenom coming out of just growing up.
Yeah.
So I would compare. I think it's fair. Like I said, obviously the wins. I'm not comparing greatness. I mean, obviously it's two different levels, but hype wise, she was right up there for women's golf. For women's golf, she was a big deal. And that was a big deal when she decided to go back to college and go to Stanford and do that whole thing. So it was a big deal. She played on PGA Tour tournaments. She missed the cut on a PGA Tour tournament by one shot. Playing for the men's tees. So crazy. I think it's a fair comparison. It was a huge deal.
Well, I was going to say that, but I thought I was kind of stupid because Tiger is so high. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, of course, it's just comparing. It's not equal. But if you go back and look at some of the old articles and read some of the old coverage of Michelle Wie, she was up there. She was being offered a contract.
She had the endorsement by Nike too. So her and Tiger were both with Nike. So
she had the endorsement by Nike. She was being offered contracts right from the get go. You know, she would play like a partial LPGA Tour schedule. So she would play a couple tournaments a year, but then she was still in like high school, and she was like a pro golfer, and she was still in like high school, and she had like thousands of dollars like rolling in from playing in these.
That's crazy.
She was on an interview with. She did a good podcast with Subpar guys.
Colton Sleece.
It was really a good interview. She talks about kind of growing up and the spotlight and the pressure of it all. So I think that's a fair comparison. So one star is on the rise, and Nelly Korda back, kind of the face of American women's golf, and Michelle Wie is seemingly going away. She's kind of pointing toward retirement and doing other things. Obviously, she has a bunch of other ventures going on as well. So I'm sure she's doing fine. Speaking of Jerry West's son, he works with the Warriors, and the Celtics obviously play them tonight in the NBA Finals. So maybe Michelle Wie will be at the game. Oh, well, no, she didn't. Never mind. That was a dumb comment. I didn't think that one. She wasn't going to be at the game. I didn't think that. I didn't think that one through. My fault. Anyway, another person that's playing is the greatest women's golf forever, and Annika Sorenstam. She won the U.S. Senior Open last year. U.S. Women's Senior Open, obviously, last year. So she's in the U.S. Open field this year. And today is apparently the anniversary to the day of her winning the U.S. Women's Open at Pine Needles. And now she's back and forth.
I think it was 96, I think.
Could be.
Either 94 or 96. They said it on the live from the U.S. Open.
It could be, yeah. So great to see her back out there competing. She was actually on the live from set earlier this morning with on the Golf Channel. So apparently her son got a hole in one on one of the holes or something.
Oh wow!
Yeah, her son's like a kid. But anyway, so great to see her obviously back competing. Probably the greatest women's golfer of all time, Erica Sorenstam. See how she does, makes the cut. It's always interesting with these majors because these people get off to great starts, even on men's majors. You see these people get off to great starts, and
they're unheard of. They're unheard of.
Catch the bad side of the draw, or they, this course toughens up, and all of a sudden they kind of like fall apart. So just because someone's 5 or 6 under now, it doesn't mean
I don't see it really getting that much more tough because it's like 100 degrees there. So I mean, if it's firm, it's fast. I mean, I really don't. Besides it, absolutely downpouring, raining, it's not going to soften up at all. So I think what we see is what we're going to get for the next 3 days.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. Obviously, a great tournament, and hopefully it'll be a great finish. Usually, these women's tournaments tend to have good finishes.
Yeah, Cup shows win was fantastic. It was so good. I watched the last like hour and a half coverage of it. It was awesome.
Yeah, so we'll have some content regarding that over the weekend. Probably on we'll have something on Sunday evening or so. So there's that. So good luck to all of them, obviously, and it should be interesting to see the various storylines going on and with the U.S. Women's Open. The Memorial is going on, Jack Nicklaus tournament. Obviously, Ricky Fowler got off to a good start today. Hopefully, he can turn it around. If not, he'll be on the LIV Golf Tour. And last time I checked, and maybe this has changed, but Cameron Young, Luke List, and Cam Smith are all in the mix at the moment. And again,
KH Lee too.
Something
That's the top 4 right there.
Something.
Zalatoris is in 4th. My boy Sahith Theegala tied for 5th at 4 under.
Did you bet the tournament this week?
I did not. I overslept this morning. I stayed up late last night and I completely forgot to wake up and go replace my bets last night. It was just a complete rookie move by me. I wanted to, but it didn't happen. Old boy Jonathan Vegas, he's 3 under. He's tied for 8th. These are final. Theegala's through 7. All the rest are final. The top 5: Zalatoris, Lee, Smith, Luke List, and Cameron Young. Max Homa continues his absolute stellar play. He's in the tour top 6 as far as the points are concerned. He's at 3 under. That's also a final, shooting 69. Joel Damon, another one of my favorites, is also at 3 under. Keegs, he's at 3 under too. Jordan, he is 2 under. I didn't realize he was inside the top 10. He's at 8 right now, which is crazy. I did not realize that. Adam Scott, Berger, Luke Donald, Ricky Fowler, Billy Horschel, Keith Mitchell, they're all at 2 under. I mean, this is a stacked field, so I could go on and on about this. Morikawa 1 under through final. Jason Day 1 under. Molinari 1 under, all final. Schauffele 1 under through 6. I won't even bother getting into the people that are still on the course or just started their rounds. But yeah.
Let me ask you this, because
Bryson's even through 6. So.
Oh, Bryson is back. He's hitting bombs.
I know everybody wanted to know that.
He's hitting bombs and draining putts. Let me ask you this, because we don't hang out. You don't want to hang out with me anymore. But were you stunned? That Scotty Scheffler lost last week?
Yeah, I thought the train was going to keep on rolling. Obviously, the PGA Championship, that was a messed up, weird course with crappy ass weather. He missed the cut by a lot. So yeah. I don't. I think I tested him like, I don't really like this course. It's kind of stupid. No, because they had like intersecting holes, like a public muni, like the King when we hit bad tee shots that go into the other fairways. Yeah. Like they said they were having golfers were delayed on the tee because golfers were crossing their path of their line of sight. I'm like, and not for nothing, it was like 48 degrees. It was at Oklahoma, right? Yeah, it was 48 degrees in Oklahoma at the end of May. Like, what? I mean, what the hell is happening here? So, yeah. So I'm very surprised that the train didn't keep rolling for Scotty. I mean, seems from what I saw last week, he's tightened his swing up a little bit. It's not so like loosey goosey now. So he, I would not be surprised if he hangs on and wins. I mean, it's still early. It's the first quarter of the season, but I would not be surprised if he's lifting up that trophy at the end of the season.
Yeah, I was stunned that he lost last week. And just he didn't make one birdie in the round, and then his buddy, the kid that won, whose name escapes me, he made that long putt on the playoff, he drained the bomb. So I was stunned that he lost last week. I think he started there with like a 4-shot lead or something. I said, this time it's over. I'm not even like bother watching it. And then all of a sudden,
especially him with this,
I checked to see if the coverage had ended so I could put an article up quickly. And it was all of a sudden he was like blowing the lead. I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So I was stunned that he lost last week. I don't think he's playing this week, but he'll certainly be back. Obviously, he'll probably be the favorite heading into the US Open, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. Rory's 1 over through 6. 1 over through 5. Sorry, I'm watching it right now.
So
but yeah, I'm not gonna go into the people that haven't teed off yet because it's 2:28.
Now Rory said he's probably not gonna play. He's probably not gonna get to Brookline early.
No, because he said he's playing 4 straight, right?
Yeah, he's playing 4 straight. He's not gonna get up there. So that'll be interesting. Guys will start obviously filtering into the Boston area on probably Sunday night, Monday morning. It'd be interesting to see where they're staying. I wonder if they're staying. I don't imagine they're staying in Providence. Do you? When they play the TBC, they used to stay in Providence.
Yeah, the Providence is a little.
I don't think
Providence is a little far.
Yeah, so I'm sure they're staying at some Boston hotel up there or whatever. But that'll be interesting. Amazingly, that's just like 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from today is the first round, so that's gonna be insane. But yeah, so lots going on obviously in the golf world. It's been a busy show. Obviously the Celtics are playing tonight against the Warriors in game 1 of the NBA Finals. It should be interesting. And they actually released the jerseys. What the NBA released the jersey.
Yeah, I saw that.
Thanks for what everyone's wearing, and I'm happy that thankfully the Celtics are wearing green on the road and white at home. No more of this third jersey nonsense. And it should look visually, it should look cool with the Warriors court and the green and the kind of the yellow mix, kind of like the type of thing. So that's what I look at. That's one of the very small things that I get excited about. If it looks visually good on the TV, if it looks cool, then I get me more excited. So thankfully,
don't forget about your Rangers tomorrow night too.
Yeah, I know, 8 p.m. Not sure where I'm watching the game yet, but we'll be watching. Don't worry. Wednesday night, I just stayed home. We ordered like a pizza.
I stayed home last night too.
I'm not moving. I was also exhausted from the state championship the previous 2 days, but so yeah, the Rangers tomorrow night, up 1-0 on the Lightning. I don't feel good about them in the series, but it was at least good to get one. Guaranteed at least one game, at least game 5. If we can at least lock up another one. So then they play Sunday afternoon at 3. So I'll probably be
Friday, Sunday.
Then the Celtics play Sunday night. Sunday is also the final day of the U.S. Women's Open. So Sunday's going to be just one giant cluster.
Final day of the Memorial.
Final day of the Memorial. Final day of the U.S. Women's Open. The Rangers are playing. The Celtics are playing.
Jesus.
So it's just going to be one big cluster on Sunday. So that'll be fun. But anyway, unless you have anything else, do you have anything at the King? You're playing this weekend? Playing Sunday?
I'm playing Sunday at Harbor Lights for my buddies.
Oh, that's right. Harbor Lights.
My buddies, not bachelor party, but like pre-wedding get together. We got a bunch of the boys together. I'm gonna have a day. I've never played there. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, I've never been there.
I've heard the kitchen's really good, the restaurant. So yeah, I'm excited to knock another one off the list. But yeah, busy week next week. The wedding's next week, so there's going to be. I'm only working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I won't be able. I'm not playing golf until the following Sunday. whether that's with you or at my place. So yeah, so golf's kind of taking a back seat, competitive golf anyways, because Sunday's going to be probably a crap show. But yeah, competitive golf's taking a back seat for a week, and we'll be back better. We'll be back better than ever hopefully for the rest of the summer.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So have fun next week. We are still in trying to figure out your podcast situation for next week, but it could just be me. It could be both of us. Who knows? We might tape it at like 2 a.m. and be half asleep. You never know.
Wednesday morning, half in the bag. Like, what is happening right now?
You never know. So we'll be back next week. Just quick notes on things coming up. Obviously, Monday is golf's longest day, U.S. Open qualifiers. I'm gonna find links to anybody that people care about. Ty McCormick obviously is going up there. I think he said I haven't talked to him, but I'm sure he's leaving probably Sunday morning, if not earlier, to go up to New York to play. And so we'll have links to that so people can.
Do they give them a practice round there or no?
He does get a practice round there, and Kurt Bray and Mike Bradshaw was trying to get him an extra practice round there. So I'm not sure if that has happened. I actually just messaged him a little while ago to check in, but we'll have a live score and links to follow that. He's obviously playing in New York. Bryson Richards, the URI star, is playing in New York with him. And Chris Francoeur and Danny Woodhead, former Patriot, are all playing in qualifiers across the country. Golf's longest day is 36-hole qualifiers walking. So obviously there's going to be a lot to follow. And again, multiple people have asked me in various places, including yesterday at the state championship. I had people ask me how many spots are going to be available, or how many spots are in the New York qualifier. The Texas qualifier last week, the week before, when Matt Kuchar was playing, they had the top 13. So I don't know if New York's going to get 13 spots, but they could get 5, 6. Maybe lucky they get 10. So that'll be interesting to follow. And again, I'm working on figuring out exactly what's going on and how many spots. And again, live scoring links will be up on Monday, so you can follow along. And obviously, we'll be following along as well. It'd be cool to see some of the locals get there. Certainly, it'd be cool for Tommy to get there, but it's going to be hard. Obviously, it's not going to be easy. So that's going on Monday, and then Tuesday, I'm actually we have Northeast Amateur Media Day at Wannamoisa. I'm actually playing Wannamoisa, so I'm excited for that. The brand new course. I was talking to Bobby Leopold yesterday at this high school state championship. He's obviously played Wannamoisa already. He said the rough has gotten harder. They made the rough thicker, and he said the course is in really nice condition, not a piece of grass out of place. And he agreed with me when I said the kids coming in for the Northeast Amateur are going to have to relearn how to play Wannamoisa. So that's going to be fascinating. That's, I think, the week after the U.S. Open, or maybe the 2 weeks after the U.S. Open. So something along those lines. So a big stretch of golf here in Rhode Island and just in general. And obviously, I have the LIV Golf stuff next week, and we'll again try to confirm where you can watch that as well. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for following along on our high school coverage. Congrats to LaSalle Academy and Max Jackson. And a really quick note, RIP to Rodney McKenzie, who passed away earlier this week suddenly at his house. He wrote a couple of articles for us. I only met him through email. He had reached out to me, asked if he could write for us. He sent me sample articles and everything. And I said, sure, as long as this stuff is timely, go for it. And obviously you wrote 2 great articles on Pawtucket and then on Brookline. So RIP to him. Sad news that we posted about earlier this week. So on that note, we're getting out of here. We'll talk to you next week. Again, either be just me or me and Rich, maybe even just Rich. You never know. So we'll talk to you then. A big week upcoming. Thanks everybody for following along, and we will talk to you soon. Peace.